Hello and welcome to the Album Man. Today I'm doing another installment of CDs and vinyl I bought recently. And apologies, this isn't isn't as frequent as it used to be. But I don't buy as many CDs and vinyl as I used to, simply because I'm a poor student living in London. So, you know, times are tougher. But as you can see, I'm back home at the moment. It's my original setup. The record's still on the wall. But still, I've been on holiday and found some cool things and some stuff in London as well, which I managed to find cheap. So enough to do an episode, certainly every once in a while, but it's never going to be as regular series again, I don't think. So we'll get into the CDs first. And both on some of the CDs and vinyl, I found this amazing record store when I was travelling Europe in Copenhagen. And it had a really interesting concept. So it's like a warehouse clear-out thing, and everything there was exactly the same price, whether it was a record, a book, a CD, and it was all like 35 Danish kroner, which is roughly like 350, 4 quid, around that type of thing. So, you know, pretty good for some interesting stuff. So first I got Icon by Paradise Lost, just something to add to my Paradise Lost collection. I'm going to be seeing them at Damnation Festival later this year, though I still need to get a ticket for that, because that lineup is fantastic. Can't wait to see Bloodbath as well. So I have seen Paradise Lost live before, and I really like the direction they're going in at the moment, you know, going back to their Death Doom. And Icon, if I remember, I think is one of their Death Doom records. Though I haven't got the chance to listen to this yet. I don't have my CD player or record player at the moment, so quite a few of these, unfortunately, I haven't listened to, as my hi-fi's in storage at the moment, so I don't really have anything to play them on currently. But some of them I've listened to, so yeah, Icon should be a good record. This is one I can't wait to hear. This is the Marshall Tucker Band, and it's called A New Life. So I'm not really familiar with the Marshall Tucker Band at all. I don't think I could even name one song of theirs. I'm not sure I even heard any. But I saw this in a different place, which was pretty cheap. I think this was in Norway, perhaps. And for Norway, this was certainly very cheap indeed, because Christ, is that an expensive country. But yeah, I believe this is meant to be kind of southern rock. I'm expecting like Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, that type of stuff, like southern jam band. But yeah, certainly tell me if you know much about the Marshall Tucker Band. I'd love to know, is this a good album to start with? What stuff can you recommend me, and am I kind of on the right track of what I'm expecting? So this is something I have heard before, and this is Sigur Ros's Hörvard and Heim. And this is the only thing I needed to complete my Sigur Rós collection. And it's, you know, it's not my favourite of their albums. It's just 5 electric recordings on one side, Hörvard, and then 6 acoustic ones on the other side, Heim, and the mostly of stuff that's already been released, I think. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's acoustic covers of Agitis Prion, of Sterilful, you know, classics of their songs. I think it's kind of a live album, if I remember. It's been ages since I've heard it. But yeah, I found this, you know, cheap, so thought I'd pick it up, complete the collection. This is a fun one, Fishes, Rain Gods with Zippos. So not one that's easy to come across at all. In fact, you look this version of the album up on Amazon, it goes for like 15, 20 quid sometimes. It's been out of print a long time. Now I know he is remastering them, and I think he's just recently released a remaster of Rain Gods with Zippos. But at the moment that's still like 15 quid, and I can't be buying 15 quid remasters at the moment. So when I see some classic Fish, which has the fantastic Plague of Ghosts suite with Chocolate Frogs on it, which is a classic of his solo discography, and when I see this for like 350, 4 quid, gotta snap it up. Now this is a fun one, which I got for a couple of quid somewhere. This is St. Jude's Diary of a Soul Fiend. Now, I do kind of have a version of this. I discovered this band through Classic Rock. They gave away a free copy of this album in like a really thin paper thing, so I thought I'd upgrade to the full version, since it was only cheap, you know, a little bit nicer, this digipack. These were very ill-fated and very short-lived bands. They were a fantastic kind of classic rock, 70s style, a bit like the Faces, Rolling Stones, wonderful female vocalist who is now doing more kind of soul-y stuff at the moment, which I don't really like. I have a feeling the band disbanded because something happened to the guitarist, maybe? I can't quite remember, but maybe something bad happened to him. And anyway, they're no longer going. It's such a shame, because this was bloody incredible. There's a lot of bands doing this type of 70s stuff out there, but St. Jude were by far one of the best. I mean, I think they could have been up there with Rival Sons and, you know, the bands at the upper echelon of that 70s revival scene. If they had continued going, it's a real shame. Next, we have Tin Machine by David Bowie. I've heard this is meant to be Bowie's kind of metal album, and I like metal, I like Bowie, so who knows? Who knows with this one? I'm not too familiar with it. This is a really cool one. So this is Testament, and it's, yeah, The Ritual. Yeah, again, you know, found it a good price, added to my Testament collection. I always find Testament a little pricey. I mean, on vinyl, they're ludicrously expensive, but on CD, I don't know, I don't come across Testament too often, so yeah, I'd like to pick it up when I see it. And lastly on CD, we have something with black metal. When I was in Norway, I had to get something with black metal. This is Dark Funerals, The Secrets of the Black Arts. So I've been getting a little bit more into kind of first wave and second wave Norwegian black metal recently. I've said in the past how I struggle to get into bands like Darkthrone, which I kind of like Darkthrone. And I do have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the earlier waves of black metal. I definitely prefer sort of later atmospheric black metal bands like Ulver, Agalok and Alcest. They're my black metal jam. But yeah, I thought it was only right to get a bit of black metal, and you can't go wrong with Dark Funerals. This is a classic album of the genre. Okay, so on to the records. So here's a few things that I picked up in Berlin. This is Saga, Heads or Tails. I really don't know much about Saga. I've heard they're meant to be a bit like Magnum in terms of like melodic rock with tiny bit of like a prog tinge to them from the 80s and stuff. So, well, you know, if they're kind of Magnum-esque. And this I just saw on some rating of their best albums. It's considered like their third best album or something, so it seems a decent enough place to start. It was literally €1, so you can't really complain. A couple of other ones I got for €1 to pad out my Al Stewart collection is 24 Carats and Time Passages. And Time Passages is a classic Al Stewart album. Because I picked up Year of a Cat a while ago now, and I've been listening to that a lot. I love Al Stewart's sound, and just the title track on that is unbelievable. It's worth checking out if you don't know Al Stewart. Kind of British, folky, singer-songwriter, but not like folky like Nick Drake or Dylan or anything, with sort of like a backing band to it, folk rock, I guess. You know, maybe not a million miles away from, like, I don't know, early Springsteen, Tom Petty type stuff. Maybe I'm a bit off the mark with those descriptions, but Al Stewart is a cool cat indeed. And continuing with the records, we have a couple of really great prog gems which I picked up when I was in Copenhagen. So the first is The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. This was the only Genesis album I needed on vinyl to complete my Genesis collection on vinyl. Well, the Peter Gabriel era of Genesis. On vinyl, the era that matters. But yeah, and this is a really nice condition copy, again for like £3.50, £4. Has the original inner sleeves and everything, which is cool. The story and things in the middle. So yeah, this is a really nice copy to have. And another prog classic I was so happy to get on vinyl finally, Mirage by Camel, one of my all-time favourite 70s prog records. I reviewed this a long time ago, and I've loved it for so many years. Lady Fantasy is just one of the greatest prog songs ever written, and takes up pretty much the second half of the album with Earthrise as well. But yeah, really check this one out. If you don't know Camel, this is the place to start, and they will just blow your way. So these are some records I got in London for really cheap, and you know, haven't again listened to many of them yet. So these are like £1 each, which is amazing. So Eric Johnson with Roscoe Beck and Tommy Taylor, and this album's called Tones. And I just really like Eric Johnson as guitarist. I mean, Cliffs of Dover I heard on Guitar Hero Freeze. I'm sure many people did, and I just fell in love with the song from then. And that was, you know, when I was very young. So, you know, Eric Johnson's guitar playing has always been a really great inspiration on me. So, for this much, you can't complain. I really look forward to hearing it. This is Gary Moore's Run for Cover. This has a lot of really great Gary Moore songs on it. The title track, Military Man, Empty Rooms, Out in the Fields. Yeah, solid bit of Gary Moore. Next we have The Faces, A Nod's as Good as a Wink to a Blind Horse. Very strange album name, but this is considered one of the Faces' best albums, if not their best, usually. Classic songs on here, really, really strong album all the way through. Haven't had it on vinyl yet, but of course I know the record. It's great. One that's definitely a bit of a gamble, Mr. Big's self-titled album. I really don't know much about Mr. Big at all. I know that nowadays I think they have Billy Sheehan as the bassist, the guy from also the Winery Dogs and part of Mike Portnoy's new supergroup he's putting together. I know I really like the Winery Dogs and things, but I don't know anything else about them aside from that. So yeah, hopefully they'll be good. And the last couple are some slices of new wave of British heavy metal to add to my collection. This is a great one, Stampede's Hurricane Town. I saw Stampede at the Sheffield New Wave of British Heavy Metal Festival back last December, and they were really good live. There aren't many members, I think there's only 2 members left in the band now, but they were really good, and this is, I think, their classic album, so yeah, that's wonderful. And then at the New Wave British Heavy Metal Festival this year, there's Diamond Head playing, so it was good to be able to pick up Canterbury. I have Lightning to the Nations on CD, the deluxe version, but I've never listened to Canterbury, so we'll get myself more familiar with it before I see them live, and I hope it's as good as their usual stuff, because Lightning to the Nations is just an absolute masterpiece, and I love Diamond Head, love Brian Tatler's guitar playing. So yeah, that's it for CDs and vinyl that I bought fairly recently enough. This has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.